All right, walk with me on this little journey, this little mind journey, okay? It just kind of hit me. It just hit me. What hit me, you might ask? A relationship is a bridge. It's like a bridge, okay? I'm not gonna say it is a bridge. It's like a bridge between two. You could say two countries. You could obviously the countries stand for the two individuals in the relationship, right? Okay. But what is the bridge over? And why do you need a bridge? Great question. There's a raging river tearing through this valley. The flow rate is astronomical. I'm talking like 2 or 3 acre feet a minute. Fast. And what's on the other side, right? You're on one side, and there's somebody else on the other side, right? You have goods to offer, you have services to offer, but you also have things you want, right? There's things we want out of relationships, whether it be communication, right? You want another individual to talk to laugh with, right? Maybe it's a utilitarian purpose as help, right? Help with kids, help with a job, help with a career, help with, who knows? People need help for all sorts of reasons, okay? Maybe it's physical. Maybe you've been lacking hug, touch, right? That physical affirmation of love, right? There's multiple types of love, right? Multiple ways to express love, multiple ways to be loved. And different people have different needs, right? Different wants, different personalities, different expressions. That's what goes into the complexity for what I'm about to tell you. Okay? Because both parties on opposite sides of that raging river have their own individual aspects, their own wants, their own hurts, their own feelings, their own flaws that they're bringing to this relationship. And friends, too often, I think that before building a good bridge, I think we just start to try to get the goods. And that's another issue, friends. I think too often, relationally, we are too focused on what they can give me or what's fair, right? Like, I've done this, it's fair, or you need to do the rest, right? And that could be a household chore. It could be taking care of the kids. It could be whose turn it is to go shopping, right? The point I'm being is, in order to have a steady and reliable flow of goods and services, and I'm breaking a relationship down in the most like basic means, basic like components, like I can, okay? I'm not viewing relationships like that's not how I view my relationship with my wife, like, because that's a very selfish, self-serving, it's very egocentric mindset, okay? And that's if you start a relationship off the grounds of what can they give me, unless it's like a business relationship, right? Because obviously that has different grounds of formation. But if you start a relationship, right, like a dating relationship, and you're like, how can this further my life? What can they give me? Then that's you're building your bridge on subpar cement, on that tofu drag Chinese cement. Okay, that's what you're building on. What you can get should be the last thing on your mind. No, because you need to keep your needs. Like obviously, you need when selecting a partner. Like you need to keep like your needs in mind and what you need out of someone. Whether like if you're not a very talkative person, you probably don't want to be yoked up with a yipper yapper like me. Okay, like So there's obviously things and criteria that we look for. But back to the basic breakdown, okay? I like to get sidetracked. There's goods and services we want out of the relationship. We got to cross the raging river. And how do we cross the raging river? We build a bridge, but not just any bridge. Because you can say, hey, you want to be my friend? And they can say, yeah. And then you guys are technically friends, right? You guys have a friendship. But will that friendship stand the test of time or a difficult trial, tribulation? Like, it could, right? Because some friendships are formed quickly and last till death. And some friendships are formed over years and still are broken apart by trivial matters. The point being, though, all right, this person who you've just met and haven't broke bread with, you haven't opened your heart to, right? You haven't learned about. You haven't learned who that person is and what makes them tick. And that's the grounds of a good bridge, right? You're going to get the most out of your relationships when you have the best relationships you can with those people. And again, you don't want to think selfishly, but if you're breaking down to brass tacks, if you're trying to maximize ROI, return on investment, right? You want the best and widest bridge available to allow ease of good transfer, okay? And that means that you got to be a good friend, a good partner. That means you got to listen. And these are things, and as I'm preaching, don't think I'm up on a soapbox. Don't think I'm separate and that I'm not working on these issues and I'm, struggling with issues like this, right? Now, granted, I found my wife, my beautiful wife, Amber, okay? But the point being, throughout a lot of our marriage, I was very self-centered in my approach to our relationship. And here, the last couple of years, God's really opened my eyes, and I've seen how selfish I have acted, and how it's been how it's been detrimental to our relationship. We're not divorced, we're not getting divorced, but I'm making the point that I haven't had her best interests out in mind. I haven't been thinking I haven't been trying to sabotage her, been wanting bad for her. We've been rocking and doing good, but I haven't been building the best bridge I could. And as I was kind of thinking about this, I'm like, I gotta share this. There's people out there who are building a crappy bridge, and they're trying to pull a heavy load over. Like, brother, you better put that tractor trailer by the freaking rest stop for a little bit. Put that oversized load on pause. Put the air brake on, buddy. Maybe go have a potty, go take a piss. Sit on down for a little bit. Get a hot cocoa, maybe a burger. This bridge has got to get built strong before you really want to test it. And by test it, what would a heavy load be? What would a wide load be? I'll tell you one. Asking them to make some kind of change, whether it be like a character change or a lifestyle change or any kind of change that isn't, pretty much no change is easy. Unless it's like changing the radio station or changing your mind on what dessert you want to get. That stuff's relatively easy. But if you want, I think I've made the point, right? I don't want to lambast y'all. I don't want to beat a dead horse. But it's a point that we too often forget. And then we start trying to pull across heavy loads. We start trying to unload a heavy load. Whether it be say it's a big emotional thing, like I don't know, say someone close to you dies, or say you're really going through something and then you just really need that shoulder to cry on, a person to talk to, and you haven't built that path, that connection. It's going to seem very foreign to both you And it's going to be a very unnatural process. And yeah, when you're going through an arduous time, right, tumultuous seasons, it's not the time to be forging a new path on communication, right? You want to be hopping on the old train back to the Normalville, right? Back to the road we've traveled. That's what we want to hop on, right? And obviously it's a difficult time, and you got to deal with it, and sadness comes and sadness goes, and it's part of life, right? Genesis 3 talks about the broken world, the fall of man. It sucks, but it's true, but there's hope. Jesus, Lord and Savior, King of all, King of kings. King of kings. He's my king. I invite him to be your king. No, I not invite him. I invite you to accept him as king. Because it's not like I'm dishing out Jesus. Like, have some Jesus, have some Jesus. Like, no, I am merely a messenger. Just someone who cares. Don't know you. But I promise you, if you take the right steps, if you take the step to stop living alone and live a life with Jesus by your side, then I promise you I will see you someday in heaven. Because we're all dying, friends. Everybody dies. Hate to break it to you. Hate to break it to you. Everybody dies. It's not morbid, it's truth. But I invite you to have hope, the peace, the assurance that I have. Found only in Jesus. Found only in the blood. Blood of the Lamb. The blood of the Lamb. Jesus is called the perfect Lamb. He was the Lamb who was slain. Because in ancient times, that's what was required as a sacrifice for atonement or the forgiveness of sins, was a blood offering, right? Like a baby lamb, or like goats were allowed, maybe cows, pigs were not. I know that. But yeah, and then Jesus came, lived a perfect life, died on the cross, rose from the dead after 3 days, defeating death, paying the ultimate price that none of us could. So now, friends, it's up to you to accept that grace, that forgiveness, that love, which you've been missing, I'm sure. There's a lot of broken people. There's a lot of hurting people. And they need Jesus. I am convinced they need Jesus, every single one of them. I don't know if I said it, but have a good day. If we can't, Jesus can. Trust in him. Life will be easier. It won't be easy. Just because you trusted Jesus, your life will not be easy, but it will be easier. I promise you that. I promise you that. Drink water. Say your prayers. Take your vitamins. Believe in Hulkamania. Brother. Have a good one, guys.